while everybody's in quarantine, I'm still working. And now I've got car trouble, so that's what I'm doing today. Of course, my day's off. It's been raining, so it's not raining exactly right now, but I have a feeling it's gonna rain soon, so I better get working. I need to invest in a jack stand because I don't even have half the hardware for this thing. Okay, so I've got it up on the jack stands, and I put it in neutral, which I highly don't recommend, but I want to show you what it's doing. First off, it seems to be really hard to move, even in neutral. I don't remember them ever being this tough. But I don't know if you can hear. It's scraping. Now, I know the rotors are warped because every single time I put the brake on, it thumps pretty bad. So I'm going to put it back in park and then pull off the wheel and get working on it. Alright. So I just had this pulled off a couple weeks ago, or a couple days ago actually. So it should be easy to remove because I greased it up. It was a pain in the butt. It took me about an hour and a half to get this off the rotor the other day. Probably due to all the heat that it's been getting through. Let's see. I just set these on the ground for now. As long as I don't lose them all, which I probably will get one of my magnetic trays out here in a second. Gosh. I'm really hoping it's not the bearing. It still could be. It's a little more wobbly than I thought it was. Oh gosh. I don't know, man. Yeah, I might have to replace the bearing. Alright. Now if I'm right, these two bolts are 14 millimeters. I'm going to take them off first. Alright, so first thing first, I got to get some penetrating oil on this thing. See where'd the other one get to. I think I got on there. What? That's weird. So they're 13. Okay. I don't know why the manual said they were 14. And of course that's the one that I didn't have in my socket set, so I'm going to run over and grab that real quick. Alright. It's a good thing I had to grab that 13 millimeter because I needed something to support this while I have it off, because I don't want to be hanging by the pipe there. Oh, I got the wrong size. I got the 1/4 inch instead of the 1/2 inch. Alright, hold on. I'll be right back. Turns out I had the 13 millimeter over by the tiller that I'm working on. Oof, wow. Wouldn't be surprised if that slide was stuck. We'll have to see how the bearing is. Or not the bearing, the pads are. Wait a second. Wait a sec. What? Is 113 and 114? Does one have the wrong bolt? Yeah, the other one's 14. Okay, that slides out. Slides out. Where'd that piece of wire I just had go? There it is. Slide out. Oh yeah, that wear is horrible. That wear is awful. Let's see if I can get this up there without having it fall. Wow, that's, oops. There we go. All right. Holy cow, the hardware's dead too. Like the hardware's destroyed. Good thing I bought a hardware pack. Holy cow, man. I only got these replaced a couple years ago. Yeah, so there is the one. And the other one's almost brand new. Look at this. Holy cow. So those slides are messed up horribly. Good grief. Alright. Okay, now I gotta take off the 19mm bolt. Oh, not 19mm, maybe 18? 17? 17, that's what it was. Ouch. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Doesn't sound like it's scraping. Oh gosh, I don't know. I'll have to look up how wobbly this is supposed to be. I don't think it's the bearing because the, well, it could still be. Alright, I gotta put some more penetrating fluid on that and then probably wait a little bit. Yeah. Alright, time to break out the big guns. I don't even know if this thing will fit under here, but we'll see. I'm still not 100% convinced it's the bearing, but it's like I don't want to spend $60 real quick, but can I get this one down here? Gosh, this thing sucks. Yeah, I can't fit it in there with this one. And it's probably not even gonna. Nope. I just still don't have enough leverage. Can I? How does this go down there? Just breaking up the pipe, I think. I don't know, it might be turning. Oh yeah, it is turning. Okay, this is actually working. Yeah, it's loosening up. Yeah. All right. Now for the bottom one. That should work. too. I'll probably clean that up. Alright. Now I'm just gotta take this part off. Try threading these back on. There we go. Alright, rotor's off. I mean, it doesn't look awful. I mean, it's obviously rusty, but it's iron, so what can you do about it? It's funny. This piece. Alright, after debating for a while, I decided to check the other side. The other side does not have this wobble. This wobble does not exist, which means the bearing is shot. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Meh. Alright, now that I'm thoroughly soaked, I finally have the socket that I needed. It's a 1.5 or 30mm wrench socket. So, essentially, I had to drive my moped to Napa in order to get it. Let's see, which way's left? There we go. Easy peasy. Once you got the right socket. That's a big size bolt. And pop these off. Ooh, sorry camera. Does that pull that off instead now? Will that come off? I don't know. Maybe? Alright. Here we go, I guess. Not quite there yet. Oh wait, no, that's right. Get in it. Ooh, greasy. The bad thing is, I've had this bearing replaced before. Maybe it's just the way I drive. Never put your finger in those. I cannot stress that enough. You will get hurt quite severely. Because what can happen is that thing will go up and then it'll snap your finger off. Let's try not to do that. I pulled the cotter pit off this before. And then I put it back in place. Now I gotta take it off again. Yeah. Oh gosh darn it. Gosh, I almost need another cotter pin after this. Ouch. I keep bumping the camera too. I want cotter pin. You can come out. I know you can. There we go. Was it this socket? Nope, that's too big. Which one was it? 14 maybe? Nope. Nope. This one? That's the one. Ouch. Of course, I probably should have taken this off first. I knew I should have got that bearing while it was out. I knew it. Now I regret everything. Move this out of the way now. It doesn't seem to come off of that like that. Unless there's something else holding it on. Let's see if I can just... Oh, shoot. Alright, that was a little faster than I was expecting. But it's off now. Alrighty. Well, I expected that part to come off, but it didn't. At least I know I can grease that up. Let me make sure it doesn't get super dirty. I just have to get this piece off now. And that's probably just being annoying. Alright, now I thoroughly feel like I've wasted time because I got a bearing, found somebody that I could get pressed in, went there, found out it was the wrong bearing, got the right bearing, got it pressed in, and it's still a little wiggly. Depresses me quite a bit. But I'll go ahead and set this in place and see what happens. Yay. Alright. Try to get all the junk out of this. As much as possible. Alright, so pack me some lithium grease in here. Okay, come on. How is this? That's so weird. It kind of just gets stuck on there. Now, before I put this on. Wipe the dust off the outside there. Pack some more grease in there. Too big. 3/4. I don't want to actually turn that too much because I don't want to mess up the alignment extremely. Right about there, I think. That should be good, actually. Off you come. In you go. That looks a lot better than the one I had on. Heck of a lot better. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I hope I'm not. I probably am. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of junk on this one. So as obnoxious as it is, my phone battery died while I was finishing up, and I couldn't just charge it and then finish and show you guys the rest of it because I needed it for the next day, but I can show you what I have going on. So the biggest thing, once I got the main bolt on, that wobble that I had with the new bearing went away, so I don't have to worry about that. And essentially installing the brakes was the same as the reverse of putting it together or taking it apart. So that all went smoothly. I did do the other side as well. Not the bearing, but the brakes. And that only took me about a half an hour to do, now that I actually had everything working. The hardware in this was the exact same, and the brake pads wear was the exact same as the other side. I have a feeling one of the things I'm going to start doing is every 6 months pulling off that brake and checking the hardware and seeing if that little spring tensioner is still working, and probably greasing up those bolts because it seems like it's always going to wear like that, it seems. And I'm going to keep the 2 decent brake pads that I have left from the old stuff, and then maybe even like 6 months down the road when I'm checking that, maybe swapping the brake pads. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, so I'll probably look that up first. But yeah, I'm pretty happy so far. I will want to point out, when you do set everything up, that when you turn on the car, before you move it, you pump the brakes a couple times. Make sure there's no air bubbles in the line, because when you put the brake pads on, you got that little piston, and I had to take a C-clamp and then compress it in so I could slide it in place, or else you'll never get it back on. I almost forgot to do that entirely. Accidentally put it in reverse before I pumped the brakes and got everything circulated again. So I started going backwards and hit the brake, and then it didn't stop. So I put it in park immediately. Luckily, I didn't hit my brother's car or anything. So it worked out in the end, but yeah, definitely make sure the brakes are pumped a couple times so they're kind of primed up and ready to go. I haven't had a problem. I drove to work yesterday. Everything's perfect. Definitely going to do the rear brakes or check them next, but hopefully probably do that next week because the weather this week is awful. But it doesn't jitter anymore when it stops, and that's the biggest thing. That was the most annoying thing. It drove me crazy and was really, really creepy about my car. So on to the next project.